Hi, welcome to Comma, where we exist between the spaces to have conversations, laughter, or even to ask some questions. My name is Joey, and today we have Sabrina and Rachel with us, two amazing ladies. Both are passionate about building people, leading with purpose, and leaving a lasting impact in their community. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's an honor to have you guys here with us. And today we're going to have a interesting topic. I believe both of you have been working together for some time and
Yep.
you kind of know each other's ins and outs, the good and the bad.
And the ugly.
And the ugly. And so one of the questions that we're interested to know is how do we build each other up and how do we celebrate each other without having to compete? So we're going to talk about that today.
That's nice.
And so today, in an age of social media, everybody
Yeah.
is competing in a way. You know, some are really out there, we're competing. Some are a little bit low key. You know, post a little bit here. I got this new thing. I achieved this new thing, and it's ingrained within us that we subconsciously want to compete.
Right.
You know, that person has this. I want it too. That person is achieving that. Why am I not that? So for both of you, is it something that as you were growing up and you are where you are today, was it something that you had to deal with and fight with within yourselves?
Who? Me? I mean, I'm the most not competitive. I'm number one at that. I'm like the
Liar,
best
liar.
At being not competitive.
Hands on fire.
You didn't get my joke. I just said I'm the number one at not being competitive.
Not being competitive, yes.
Yeah, I think growing up in a family, I have two older brothers, and so there was always some form of competition. Even up to today, my eldest brother, he's a pastor in every nations, and so we have our little bickers. That he's like, I'll be like, oh, so good job today. You did so well in doing our cousin's wedding ceremony. He was like, yeah. Uncle wanted to no, he said, see, I told you uncle prefers me more than you. I said, oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, so we have our friendly banter, and so I grew up in that kind of environment, and then I met Pastor Sabrina Lo Aiping, and oh my goodness, it was so next level because she's Singaporean and Chinese. And so it's not just normal level kiasunas.
Okay, it's okay.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Okay.
Just kidding. But I'm competitive. She's competitive, and I think you wanna share about the Tona thing.
Yeah, sure. Well, so for me, yes, I grew up in a very competitive environment.
Yeah.
Culture with education, also me being the eldest in my family, the only girl. I've got three younger brothers. So expectations, right? So in that, you're just inclined towards being competitive. You want to be the best and do the best, and be first in class and be number one. So having grown up in such an environment, it's always been ingrained in me. And so when I met Rachel, of course, we're two very strong personalities. I'm from Singapore. She's from Malaysia. The English proverb goes, you cannot have two tigers, or was it two lions on one mountain?
Yeah.
But that's okay because I'm a lion, she's a tiger.
Alright.
So we can work. We can make things work. But when I first met her, I remembered this was before we even started working together. She came to Singapore, so I brought her to an arcade, and we were playing Daytona. And such was our competitiveness that I looked at the screen. I was already number one, and I looked for her car. She was really way back. So I thought, so no threat lah, So I just continued my game. And then towards the end of the race, it literally went 3, 2, 1. And then her car just slightly overtook mine. And then she came in first place and I came in second, Wow, I tell you, I was so mad, so upset. I literally cold-shouldered her the whole day
The
after
whole
that.
day. She didn't talk to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, what did I say? And then I realized, could it be because I beat her in Daytona? I was like, no, cannot be. Then I realized she's still not talking to me.
It was terrible. I mean, it was something that I really had to work through, this whole thing with being competitive, even with social media. I mean, today we've made social media like an indoor sport, It's like, okay, let's see. Oh, beautiful clothes. Oh, I need to buy beautiful clothes, Oh, wow, what a great meal. I want to have a great meal too, But honestly, nobody's really posting when you're having diarrhea and, you're farting and your hair is all over the place, I mean, we post the best of ourselves. And in that, it's created and cultivated such a competitive culture where I want to, I want my dog to be cuter than your dog. Look, my dog can do this, right?
My husband to be more handsome than you. Oops.
But I think how we roughed it out was it took me it actually took us many years. I would say about 5-6 years where we actually sat down with each other and we said, hey, let's learn to be comfortable in our own skins. My strengths are different from your strengths. Your strengths are very different from mine. And if we could come together and ride on each other's strengths, celebrate each other's strengths rather than see it as a threat or, because of my insecurity, I see it as an intimidation. So she would compare her communication skills with mine. And I would compare my prophetic sense in that sense where, when we pray for people, we're both pastors, right? And the way she does that, I would compare myself to her. So there was a lot of comparing. There was a lot of competitiveness in a lot of things we did. But it came to a point where we said, let's just learn to be comfortable in our own skins. Let's also agree to disagree.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so our core is the same. Like we have the same core, but then we recognize that, hey, our expressions are different, right? Based on our upbringing or even perspectives, our methods are different, but we are headed to the same destination with the same core values, the same core vision. So let's ride on that and tap into one another's strength, because we've all been designed to be originals, right? So we don't want to die copycats.
Wow. That line is beautiful. We are created to be originals, and let us not die as copycats.
Yes.
And I want to. One thing you said was that you had to hash it out. 5-6 years sitting down, having conversations, and talking about, where you're strong, when I'm not. We complement each other, and so one thing that I picked out, you mentioned about insecurities.
Yes.
I think one of the biggest fuel for envy among people is because of undealt insecurities.
Right.
And so for both of you, how is it something that young people can begin this conversation about my insecurities, about my iniquities, and I'm not good at this, I'm bad at that? I think it's a tough conversation to have. Everybody, like you said, social media is the best version of ourselves.
Yep.
My dog is the cutest, my husband is the best, my holiday is the best. So this conversation of insecurities kind of fades out as compared to that. So how would you guys talk about it? How will you go about, okay, let me rephrase the question. How will you go about beginning this journey of looking within ourselves? What are our insecurities? Because I think sometimes it's very obscure. It's very hard for us to pull that out. Yeah. How do we begin this conversation within ourselves?
Yep.
I'll say the first line and then you finish it off. Well, it takes a lot. The simple one-liner is find your delight in the Lord, and may you be a delight to the Lord. That's the one sentence.
Right.
But to get there, it's like climbing mountain, It's like you never imagine how hard it is to actually experience that truth. And I thank God for a lockdown. I mean, of course, a lot of not nice things happened during that time.
Yep.
But it was really God's way of putting a pause to everything.
Right.
Like the whole world was going on overdrive.
Right.
And we were just learning how to handle social media and all these external things that are coming in at us all the time. The moment you wake up, your phone's constantly, you're constantly engaged with internet and everything else. And I think the lockdown and the pandemic was God's way of just putting a pause on all of our lives and reminding us what is truly important at the end of the day.
Yeah.
When everything is stripped away, right? What is really yours?
Yeah.
And what truly matters to you?
Yeah.
And I was reminded that, when Jesus, when Jesus said about Mary, and Martha was like, Jesus, tell Martha, to work with me, da 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 da. And he's like, well, Mary has chosen the better thing, and this can never be taken
Yeah.
away from her.
Yeah.
And that one sentence just means so much during a pandemic for me, because my family was taken away from me. My
Right.
birthday parties were taken away. The
Right.
church was taken away. And of course, the community was taken away. I mean, the physical sense of it anyway. Everything, right? But what remained was my intimacy with the Lord.
Right.
And for like almost every day for those 365 days, he would tell me how much he loves me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a process every morning I'd go through, because right before that, 2019, I'd gone through this inner healing session called Sozo. Okay. Now, inner healing doesn't mean you have mental issues, psychological issues, and crazy issues. That's why everyone should go for some form
Yeah.
of inner healing.
Yeah.
So I went one called Sozo, and where the Holy Spirit's invited into the conversation, where you have conversations with God,
Yeah.
the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. And so I learned the tools about how to have conversations with the Lord directly, and of course that's after having many years of Bible study. Now I don't want to remove that, because
Yep.
Bible study is the foundation of the voice
Yep.
of the Lord in my life. Okay, but now I've been in ministry now 8 years, something like that, and just hearing His voice. So every morning during the pandemic, I'd wake up and ask Him one simple question: "Good morning, Daddy," and I'll say, "Do you love me?" And of course He'll say yes, and then I'll always say, "How much do you love me?"
Right.
Can you imagine? Every day He will find a different way to tell me how much He loves me.
Yeah.
He's never said, "I love you" the same way twice in 365 days.
Okay.
He'll take me to the beach and he says, "Do you see the sand?" He'll pick it up in his hand and he's like, "This is how much I love you." All the sand, even in my hand. Can you imagine how many times I have to pick this up?
Yeah.
And that's how much I love you. And another day He takes me to another place and says, "Do you see the sky? Do you see the cross? Do you see this? Do you see that?" And He's like constantly telling me how much He loves me. And I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that. I mean, I'm a pastor and a preacher, and I tell everybody Jesus loves you all the time, right?
Yeah.
But I think for me to experience that emotion,
Yeah.
not just in my mind, but my heart and my spirit, for it to go down very deep.
Yep.
It was there that I really got healed from any form of the need to compete,
Yep.
the need to be eloquent, the need to
Right.
compare. And at the same time, on the other side, we were going on YouTube every Sunday, right? And oh my goodness, that will really test your confidence and your identity, because it's like now you're not just talking to a room of 200, 300 people every week. Now you're talking to a vast room of you have no idea,
Yeah.
like the thousands of people watching you online. And I would like criticize myself every Sunday after service. I'll look through and I'm like, oh my goodness, what did you say? Why did you fumble? Why your hair like that? Why you stand like that? Why you talk like that? She would know, because it'll take me a long time to get out of my grave, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, God, just don't come out of this pandemic. I don't want anyone to meet me. Because that's when I knew I
Right.
had real deep rooted fear of not
Right.
performing well,
Right.
not looking well, not speaking eloquence and all that, right? But in the mornings the Lord would tell me, "I love you."
Right.
Like, if everything else is taken away from you, would I be enough for you?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
If all you had was me,
Wow.
would I be enough for you?
Wow.
And that was what really rooted me to be who I am today. I think now, if you've seen us speak, we're so comfortable on stage, or myself anyway, because I'm like, you know what? I'm just rooted in the love of the Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, so because I mean we're both Christians,
Yeah.
so what Rachel had tackled was more the spiritual side of things. How we as Christians have found our security and our validation and our wholeness, completeness in God. We have a saying, if you don't live for the applause of men, then you won't die by the criticisms of men. Right, and I think with this whole competitive edge, we're always looking for the applause of men. We're looking for the validation of people. People like me. People applauding me. But if we don't live for that, then we won't die by the criticisms of men as well. I think on a practical side, I think what young people are looking for actually it's vulnerability, right? I think they actually don't mind having tough conversations.
Right.
And practically, I think it starts there. Having tough conversations with yourself, like, okay, look, I'm in this vicious cycle of comparing myself to others. How do I stop it? What are my insecurities? And then from there, I would encourage to have a buddy or someone that you trust to talk things out, to process things out.
Right.
Like a safe space where you can just like, hey, these are my insecurities. I really want to deal with this. I think everything starts from that. Being transparent and just very open with your insecurities. And then finding what your strengths are. I think in a culture that we live in today, we try to be holistic in that sense. Like, okay, I want to be straight A's for all my subjects, but not everyone is academically excellent in that sense, right? Or wired up that way. Some of us are very much more hands-on, we're gifted in very different ways. What I would say is find your strengths and really work on your strengths. So if I am in mathematics, for example, if I am a B student and the best I can do is B, then I aim for the B. I won't actually aim for the A. I'll do my best and aim for the B. But aiming for the B doesn't make me a lesser person than a friend who is really gifted with mathematics. Because my gift is not mathematics. My gift is humanities. So with humanities, with my gift like communication, I want to be the best because I know these are my strengths. And if I can thrive in my strength, then I don't become a jack of all trades and the master of none, but you actually become a master of something because that's your gifting and that's how you've been designed. And I tell you what, people pay when you become a master of a craft.
True.
Right? So I'd rather be that than to be holistic and be an all A's or all, Yeah. So, I mean, practically, I think start by having tough conversations and then find what your strengths are, thrive in that, be excellent in those, and be a master of those traits.
Yeah, I think both sense of it is very important. In the spiritual sense and the practical sense. I think it's coming together, having both that makes it makes this journey a little bit bearable.
Yeah,
I think because if we go through this life of having to constantly, it's a like a seesaw. Some days we're good, we're performing well, we're good. Some days we're at the bottom, and so when you mentioned about having a friend. And so one thing that people would probably struggle with is that I want my friend to see the best version of myself. And how do we approach this, a friend, and to have this conversation to say, actually, can you tell me where I'm not good at? Because sometimes we have blind spots.
Right.
Sometimes we can't see
That's
what
right.
we're not good at.
Yeah.
So for both of you, how did this conversation begin to take place for both of you?
Yeah, well, I'm very thankful for a best friend like Rachel. When you have a friend like that, you don't need enemies. No, just kidding. But I'm so grateful, for someone who can speak into my life, not just in with compliments and praises, but also to point out exactly that my blind spots. So when I first came to Malaysia as a Singaporean to work with Rachel, in Sarawak in east of Malaysia. I came with all my ideals, right? I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna, make an impact and be an influence, right? And I remembered being a very strong-headed person, very strong-willed person. And one of the toughest conversations I've had to have with Rachel in the beginning was that after I spoke about culture and all these things, I remembered going to the car and with Rachel yelling at me, and she's like, who do you think you are? Do you think you've come to change my people? You've come to change my culture? Sabby, I just want to burst your bubble sometimes. You live in this bubble of idealism of wanting to change the world, And man, I mean, that really got me because I'm like, what do you mean? Don't you have the same core conviction as me? Wow. Don't you want to be an influence of positive change, and all these things, right? And that I think started off with the both of us being very comfortable having tough conversations because I came from a culture where, or maybe the way I have been brought up and just the way I'm wired, it's like, okay, it's my way or the highway, right? It's like, I've got all these great plans, nobody's to shake my plans, right? And then God sends someone like Rachel into my life, the tiger to roar at the lion. And I think that was actually what started our journey of having real conversations, tough conversations. Of course, working together, then, we have had many conversations. And I think it took us then 5-6 years to actually come to that rhythm of working well together. What would you say?
My favorite sports brand is Adidas. her favorite sports brand is Nike, and one is impossible is nothing.
Yeah.
The other one is just do it,
Yeah.
And so they look similar but very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm the one with the stripes, so I always say I'm more spiritual. By his stripes will be healed, right? And then she always say, what was your Nike tagline?
I don't know. Just do it. Apostolic. Just do it. Do first thing later.
Yeah. She always thinks she's right, lah. Basically. And I think that's the beauty that's the purpose and reason why God brought us together, is that in doing things right,
Yeah.
there is still that element of carrying people, like carrying the heart of Jesus, lah. Not that she didn't have the heart of Jesus, obviously, but it really is both, like
Yeah.
because you can't just be all heart, but no plans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't just be all plans, but also not have the compassion to like sit down and really understand
Yeah.
someone where they're at and what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And so for me, I had to really upgrade my mind
Right.
and my brain
Right.
to understand what why she made decisions she had to make.
Yeah.
Right. And she had to come down. Not that I'm lower, but it's interesting even in that
To enlarge
idea.
my heart
Yeah,
capacity.
because one is here, right? No, and it's interesting because one had to be humbled, and I had to like come up like really, because
Yeah.
I've never seen leadership like this before.
Right.
I've never seen like we're so community based, and I'm native, right? I'm clubbed, and so our tribes, we have to make decisions together.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're constantly in community,
Right.
and so you never make one decision and everybody just wants to follow, right? It actually has a constant like, what do you want to do? Well, what do you want to do? Well, to the point where they don't do anything because they keep asking what they want to do, right? And then suddenly I meet her and she's so decisive. I'm like, oh, so just like that? Yeah, just go. You mean you don't need to ask? You mean we don't need to like have a long conversation about this? It's just like,
long and draggy meetings that get nowhere.
and I was like, oh, okay. And I really had to upgrade that part. And I think for Sebi, she had to learn to come and be more in touch with her heart and be in touch with the people around her. And I think in the earlier stages, a lot of us had to more come up lah. And then in the later, once the establishing of the house and the way that we function began, then there's a lot more heart involved in everything. I think it's a beautiful way of how God purposefully put people together, that unity is not in conformity.
Wow.
Right? Unity is
In
through
diversity.
through humility.
Wow.
Like unless there's humility on both sides, we won't be able to come where we are today. She had to humble herself and be like, you know what? There are parts of me that needs to grow in Christ, right? And there are parts of me that needs to grow as well in that area. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
Unity and diversity.
man, that's beautiful. I think if the world would adopt this mentality, I think the world will be a much better place. There will be no wars, there will be no fighting. And I think it's an idea that many would say is a dream that will never come true. But I truly believe that certain dreams take form and shape in the small communities, and it affects the larger people.
Okay.
And so we talk about communities, and I think one thing that we want to tap on as well is how do we then identify certain communities that we are in that are not, well, how would I put it? Okay, lack of a better word, a little bit toxic. There are some people who just generally gather together to talk bad about other people, and to like, hey, have you seen this person did this, did that?
Right.
And I think it's a toxic thing that everybody hates,
Yeah.
but we enjoy it as well. Having that back talk. I think it's also, in that sense, that conversation makes us feel a bit more superior.
Right.
Right. So have you had to deal with that in your community?
Oh yeah. Like I think in any community, for as long as there is a goal and there's a purpose and there's a group of people who needs to achieve that goal, there will be sooner or later this moment where we will look to the left and to the right.
Yep.
I think the worst thing about comparison is that it robs you of the joy of fulfilling the destiny, to fulfilling the goal and the purpose
Yeah.
that God has put together a team. And I realized that it gets really bad, not when we compare ourselves to people who are better, but it's really bad when you start comparing yourself to people who are lesser. And you think, oh, well, at least I'm not as bad as that person.
Yeah.
Or, that worship set, not bad, but I think they could have done better. Like we actually think in our mind
Yeah.
that, because we may have seen more, done more. So sometimes people may think that, it's easy to compare yourself then to someone that's lesser. It
yeah.
really robs you from understanding that people have been put next to you
Yeah.
as more of companionship to
Right.
achieve the goal than as contending to who to get there first.
Yeah.
If we understand lanes in life, it's more of friendship. My lane is next to your lane, so that we can move together
Right.
and encourage each other on, rather than who's gonna get there first is gonna win. And that shift allows you to continue to have joy, because if not, it will really rob you from what truly matters.
That's good. I think there's an African proverb that says, you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
And in the going together, then that's where we celebrate that diversity. That I think what Rachel said, either or you're dead in the water. If you compare yourself, to someone better.
Yeah.
In every sense of that word, better looking, cleverer, smarter, whatever, more successful. Then that sense of failure sets in. You feel like I've disappointed myself. I can never be something. Or if you compare yourself to someone who's lesser,
Right.
then pride sets in.
Right.
So either or you are dead in the water. So
Yes.
don't go there. But have we had to deal with toxicity in our community? For sure. So again, having tough conversations, real conversations, to nip gossip in the bud,
Right.
to nip, such talks of negativity, of pulling one another down.
Yeah.
In the bud. So, in our community, we say, let's be very slow to cast stones of judgment,
Right.
because people who don't look like us, talk like us, smell like us, have the same frequency as us. We're, as human beings, we like to catch people in their wrongs, rather than in their rights, So we're very critical.
Yeah.
We tend to be a bit more judgmental in that.
Yeah.
So we say, let's not be very quick to cast stones of judgment, but let's be quicker to cast out crowns of destiny.
Wow.
To speak life, to speak destiny
Wow.
into people's lives, to encourage them instead of to pull them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have had to deal with such culture as well.
Allow me just say this sentence. I wrote it down this morning. Comparison doesn't just rob you when you feel lesser. It also blinds you when you feel superior.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote it down this morning. It's like, yes.
It doesn't rob you when you feel lesser.
It doesn't just rob you when you feel lesser, but it blinds you when you feel superior.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either or you're dead in the water. Lah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, I think that's we've had a good conversation today, and I think we've left the viewers with a lot of thoughts, and so I think we're almost done with time. But for those of you who have any questions, please do feel free to drop it in the comments. Connect with us on our social media. Ask away. Again, this is a place for us to have conversations, to ask questions, and everything else in between. So that's all for today's episode. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.